This is Let's Talk Business with your host, Marc Ebinger. Now, here's Marc.
Welcome back to the Let's Talk Business podcast. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk about the Founders Institute, an accelerator and mentoring program for early stage businesses. In studio with us today is Alantheus Thompson, the founder of Groe Solutions and a local leader and organizer of the San Antonio chapter of the Founders Institute. Alan, welcome to the show.
Hey, Mark. Thanks for having me. Name's Alan, Marine vet, founder of Groe Solutions. We specialize in spatial and behavioral analytics. And also, like you mentioned, the local leader of the Founders Institute. And I'm looking forward to talking today about both those things. Thanks.
So how long did you do in the Marine Corps?
10 years.
Okay. What'd you do?
I worked on F-18s, aviation.
Oh,
and
nice.
Ran the flight and maintenance operations.
Were you ever on an aircraft carrier?
Yes, I was.
For how long?
9 months.
Oh.
Almost 9 months straight.
Is it as fun as it seems to be on an aircraft carrier?
Yes, it is as fun, quotation marks, as it seems.
So you're being sarcastic.
Yeah.
It's not really fun?
No, it's anything's what you make of it, you know.
Great.
It was supposed to be a world tour. We're supposed to stop in a port every month and have a good time. We ended up getting stuck on the boat.
That's how they get you to sign up, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be like Top Gun. So I hear you guys fish off the boat. That fishing's a big thing off an aircraft carrier. Is that true?
No, it's
Not for the
too
Marines.
high off. But they do have what's it called, Shellback Day, and some other special events when you cross the equator. Good experiences to have.
All right, cool. All right, and I'm your host, Marc Ebinger, the owner and CEO of Kruka's Virtual Staffing, a company that recruits and staffs experienced overseas administrative assistants for insurance agents and attorneys. So if you're curious about the most common tasks that virtual assistants are doing for businesses, head over to our website at krukas.com and grab a list of the top 20 tasks that VAs are doing for your businesses, for businesses just like yours. The link is in the podcast description.
And I'm co-host Desiree Serna, your Texas nonprofit guru, premier publicist, and your success strategist at Philanthropic and Public Relations.
Hi, everybody. I'm another co-host sitting in today, the other Alan, though my Alan name is not as cool. It's just Alan. But fun fact, I worked in aerospace for 10 years with a maintenance, repair, and overhaul company. So maybe we can chat about our aviation and aerospace experiences. Yeah. So I am the owner of My Coach Next Door. As an HR expert, speaker, and coach, I work with growth-minded individuals, leaders, and teams to help them unlock their full capacity.
All right, and what do you got going? Is something's going on with you, Alan? What were we talking about before the show?
So much. I have so much going on. Yeah. Right. So I mentioned I'm a speaker. So in addition to my HR world that I've been working in for 25 years, the last 5 years I've been working as a professional speaker here and there. And so this last week, so you know how people talk about how you have to make an investment in yourself? Mm-hmm. And this is something I say to people all the time. So this last week, I did that. I made an investment in myself, and I joined a program, thank you, called Impact 11. Anybody heard of it?
No, I haven't. Tell us.
You should look into it.
Tell us more. Absolutely.
Absolutely amazing. So it's this group the founders of Impact 11 founded this boot camp for speakers. So if you want to take your speaker experience and your speaker practice to the next level, join this company. So it's got, I don't know if you know these names, but people like Ryan Estes, Seth Madison, Josh Linkner. These are individuals who've been in the speaking space, making $1 million as speakers. Mm-hmm. They do really well. So they bring you in and they give you access to actually all their material, these master classes on every aspect of the speaking business, which is truly a business that I never even imagined there's so much to it. So there's the stagecraft piece, right? There's actually getting on stage, being interesting, having something that helps people solve problems, like real business problems. But then there's all the assets that you need.
Yes.
There's all the marketing piece. There's the speaker reel that you need. There's also how you price yourself. There's the speaking bureau relationships, which is not something I even knew existed until I got in part of this program. So being in this program this last week, I actually met bureau agents and built some relationships, met some amazing people in the industry. And so my goal now is to take everything I've learned and take my speaking practice to the next level. So I am available.
Curious why? Why do you want to be a public speaker?
That's such a great question because they even challenge you to think about that. Like, are you in it for the recognition? Or are you in it for the contribution?
Yes.
Maybe I'm in it for a little bit of both. Growing
That's
up.
fair enough.
I was
right?
on stages growing up. Yeah, I was in the theater.
I'm thinking marketing.
Marketing is great. Right. It
Personal branding, right?
It feeds other lines of business, right?
It
feeds other verticals. Yeah. So long-term coaching, consulting, speaking, this is where I would love to be taking my career.
I would also say in the age of AI, speaking is probably one of the best skill sets to have.
Say more.
Why do you say that?
Yeah.
So I did Code Up boot camp for data scientists, and one of the first projects they have you do is like find job posting data to figure out like what are the skill sets you need to succeed. But in the Marines, you're taught always think two ranks ahead, right? Like what do you need for 2 levels up? So I looked at a lot of the senior data scientist roles and things like that. And what I found out is really what they care about more when you get to that level is your ability to communicate and collaborate.
Yes.
So especially now with AI of accelerating, being able to have that skill and teach people that skill is, I think, a valuable thing.
You know, you say communicate and collaborate, and then so is collaborate same as networking? Is that what you're talking about in your mind?
I mean, there's probably some overlay, but no, I think they're different.
They're different. Because I agree with that. So I'm big into networking, speaking, collaboration. Big into all 3 of those. So good. I guess I'm going in the right direction.
You're on the right track.
And Desiree, what do you got going on?
I got a couple of toy drives. So again, the nonprofit guru here, I'm always giving back. And so very exciting. One toy drive, I'm working with Lions Production, a local San Antonio-based organization, and they've partnered with different local artists, local acting individuals, and we're going to be at Banana Billiards on Sunday in the evening. But very exciting. During the morning at 10:30, I will be putting out more information, but I'm going to be working with a world-famous singer, Austin Mahone, world-famous singer, Laura Linda, nonprofit Icon to ICANN, global organization Icon Talks, and entertainment guru Little J, and we're going to be giving out toys.
Cool.
So the one in the morning, we're actually giving out toys. So bikes, toys, all that good stuff, we're going to be giving that away. In the evening, we're going to be working again with Lion Zach, and we're going to be doing a toy drive there. They're going to have food and all that good stuff to lure people and their contribution over. So that will be at Banana Billiards from 6 to about 8 o'clock. It's going to be a great time. I love giving back. You know, 'tis the season to give back.
That. Yeah.
Yes.
Your job is so
I like
fun.
the word you use, lure. It's almost like different than what you should have used. Lure has like a bad connotation.
It does.
But it's such a good cause. So, but I hope you lure everyone. And
Inspire, right?
Exactly.
Inspire.
Yes. There you go. Motivate.
Motivate,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Are you organizing this?
No, I'm not organizing it. I'm contributing to it.
Okay, got it.
Your job is so fun, and I love so much of what you do is about giving back.
Absolutely.
You have this calling that is just to serve and to help people.
And it's the same
very
like what we're
inspiring.
talking about, like with the speaking platform. Like I love that my job, it's a little bit for me. I love that it's a great profession to be in, but I love that there's that cross-pollination of giving back as
Absolutely.
well.
I have things that I want to say on stage because I want it to get to a lot of people. I'm very inspired by having a healthy workplace, and that's where my experience has been the opposite. Though I have had amazing leaders that I've worked for as well. But I think companies succeed when they have healthy workplaces, and so that's my message.
That's right.
Yeah.
Did you ever check and see if toxicbosses.com was taken?
I have not checked yet, but I should get right
I'm
on
sure
that.
it is, but I'm like, it could be toxicbosses.tx maybe or something.
Maybe,
like
yeah.
that.
Dot
something.
net.
There's one of those in Texas. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm writing
But
it down.
I think that's a cool deal. All right. A quick reminder to follow the Let's Talk Business podcast on all major podcast platforms and social media where you can catch video versions of the show. You can get to everything easily by visiting the website for the podcast. It is satalkradio.com. All right, Alan, so give me a little bit about your background. I know we already know you're in the Marine Corps and whatnot, but as far as your professional background, bringing you to your business that you're involved with now, and then, of course, the Founders Institute.
Background with Groe Solutions. I moved to San Antonio from Japan in 2021 after I got my family settled in from all the craziness of that transition. I looked into opening a rock climbing gym. Found out it was going to be more competitive. There was a gym out of Houston called Inspire that was going to move in, and one of the local gyms was looking at expanding. So I thought, how could I entrench myself as an operator for rock climbing? And I came up with this computer vision, AI, machine learning based idea And then one day I was talking to my buddy who's also a climber, and that conversation led to me finding out his background, which is in machine learning and data science and things like that. And he's like, yeah, I think I can build that. And I said, okay, well, we kicked the can around a couple months and decided it wasn't really the best fit for rock climbing, but we thought it fit really well with regular gyms, big box gyms, Gold's Gym, LA Fitness, things of that nature. And yeah, we dove in, and I've been at it ever since.
So give me a quick breakdown of the technology, because he and I talked, because it took me a minute to get at, to understand what it is you're doing with that. But it's like, traffic cameras and how they monitor traffic.
Yeah.
They do the same thing in the gyms to see where people are working out in the gyms and what equipment's being used, right? So you get basic traffic pattern flow within the gym is how, in a layman's terms, how I interpreted that. But is that correct? Is that what you, or maybe explain that a little bit?
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it, is but not just the traffic patterns, being able to understand the zones or like the equipment utilization and the traffic patterns at an individual member level. We don't use facial recognition or anything like that. We use a suite of other tools to track the individual through space and time. And so we take privacy and security very seriously. But yeah, it's tracking the individual as they use the gym, and then we're able to give that analysis to the gym owner so they can better figure out, okay, my equipment isn't getting used. I can get rid of this. I can improve my outlay, my gym setup if I get rid of this. This is the equipment my gym members actually want. Or, even just sometimes, especially for a big gym, just getting the recognition. There's thousands of members in a big gym, but staff, like very minimal staff. It's impossible for staff to like, hey, Mark, you did a great job today. You stuck to your routine, or you used a more advanced area of the gym today. Great job. Just that kind of like recognition to make people feel seen and acknowledged for their effort, pretty much.
And so is this something that trainers and staff or employees from, let's just say, again, if we're at Gold's Gym or LA Fitness, are they going to use that intel to suggest, hey, we noticed you're working on quads, but you're not using this particular machinery? Is it for suggestion for members?
Yeah, so we will feed the staff the individual member profile, workout history, and prompts of like how to engage with that member based off their actual behavior in the space. And then aside from the behavioral aspect, there's the spatial aspect of tracking the equipment usage, which is a huge value unlock for a gym owner because CapEx is one of their biggest cost expenditures.
So if you're not using facial recognition, how do you know that Mark did quads today?
That's the secret sauce, right? But we
That's
do
a trade secret.
Well, wait a minute. There's got to be. So what's the There's got to be an identifier. It can't be rocket science on what the identifier
right.
is.
Yeah. So we do use the swipe in as a moment of truth. We mentioned working collaboratively. We work with the current gym management softwares to pull that moment of truth, and then our secret sauce tracks them throughout the gym, and with a high degree of accuracy to ensure we're tracking that member's behavior.
Seems like the easiest way to do that is facial recognition software, but you're not allowed to use that, or what?
It just gets into, it's really
Privacy.
taboo, and it's legal murky waters in some states in terms of the biometrics around facial recognition. I don't know. I mean, maybe the whole AR glasses with Meta and Google now are going to change that. There was someone walking around with AR glasses and it pulled their social media and they're able to like talk to them like they knew them. So that obviously creates a lot of trepidation and fear. So we just stay away from that entirely. We are all about capturing that data to serve the individual the best way possible.
Okay.
So going back to the information that is being provided to help the experience, is that information going directly to the user or the person who's working out, or is that information going to the people who work there to then go try to enhance their experience? Where's that information going?
It's going to the staff.
Staff, okay.
So the big value is like the equipment utilization and helping gym owners understand their members better. because they will want to serve their members in a way that also aligns with their brand.
Okay.
But once we get that piece figured out, we would want to extend access to the individual member data to the individual and go to a B2B to C model.
Because that's exciting for me
Yeah.
as a user of a gym. The only am I using the right terminology? The only gym experiences I've ever had, that the ones that I kept coming back, were the ones I felt like I was a very personalized experience.
Yeah.
And for me, it was CrossFit. I'm sure you can tell by looking at me, I've done a lot of CrossFit.
Same.
Yeah, same. But I did do it for a few years, and I loved it. And it's because every day I was getting a very personalized experience,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed that. And that's why I've never gone to what I guess I could call a big box gym.
Like
Right.
Planet
And that could
Fitness.
change it for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one reason why I'm really passionate about this and why we're going after big box gyms, because I think you're exactly right. Personalization, especially in the age of AI, personalization is the golden ticket, right, for any company.
Absolutely.
Well, it seems like a no-brainer for
yeah.
someone like Planet Fitness to be like, they would want to know what people are doing in their gym. So the whole traffic pattern analogy seems like an easy way to sell that.
Yeah, it's a huge value unlock. But the reason I'm loving it, though, or love my idea, is there are roughly 70 million Americans that go to gyms, whether it's small gyms or big gyms or whatever. But over half of them go to a big box gym. And when you look at the big box gym yearly retention rate, it's atrocious compared to like a boutique studio,
Right.
mom and pop place. If we can get big box gyms on par for their yearly retention with a boutique, that's roughly 8 million people per year staying committed to health and fitness.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm super passionate
I
about.
love that. And the healthier they are, they'll work better.
Yeah.
Back to my world, right?
Yeah.
You unlock their full capacity when they're operating at their full capacity.
Yeah, I like to say our goal or mission is, to realize humanity's potential, and fitness is a huge part of that.
Love that.
Yeah.
So how did that lead you into the Founders Institute?
I actually did the Founders Institute Accelerator. When was it? I want to say it was last year I did it. I went through the cohort. I was looking for a co-founder. I've done several incubator, accelerator type programs, and I thought the FI program was really well done and put together. And as soon as I graduated, I said, I want to bring this to San Antonio. Fortunately, they said, we're looking at expanding into San Antonio. So I spent some time kind of learning the ecosystem better here in SA to, essentially the feasibility if it added value, because I don't want to just bring something else to bring something else. Like, will it add value? I came to the conclusion that it would, and so just like with Groe Solutions, I dove in.
So what does it mean? What's the responsibility on you? How do you execute on actually building out a chapter here in San Antonio?
We are building a cohort of mentors, local mentors, to provide that like on-hand support. That local mentor network connects to a global mentor network, which is pretty expansive. And then aside from the mentors, building out the co-promotion partnerships, the investor partnerships, and the sponsorships. That we'll
Sounds
need.
like a full-time job to do that in addition to your business.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have a team, so we try to split the effort. No man's an island, you always need a team.
Well, who's on your team?
Lena Rogova, Caitlin Walker, and Martine Martinez.
And how did you get those folks on your team? Was that something the Founders Institute did for you, or did you have to make those connections?
It was a little bit of, I started searching for a team. Martine Martinez is the Austin local leader, and I think he's positioning into a regional role now with FI. He's from San Antonio. He's wanted the program here in San Antonio for a while. So when I told him I was going to dive into it, he was more than willing to lend a helping hand. And then that led to an introduction with Lena, who she's been in San Antonio a while now, and she has Emerge and Rise, which is a nonprofit focused on helping minority-owned businesses, and also another group focused on women business. She's great. She puts a lot on her plate, but she gets it done. And then ultimately, I can't remember how the introduction to Caitlin happened, but she came along the way. She's involved in a lot of initiatives. She was with Code Up also before. Another real go-getter. She's like, I'm going to get my, I think, third degree now, working on a lawyer's degree. And yeah, we have this team of people that are really passionate about developing the ecosystem here for different reasons, and we're all going to get it done.
Well, and last question about the development of this, but so what about the pace of it? It's like, I mean, it's going to take a lot of attention, a lot of energy, a lot of connections, and it needs to be done in a timely manner. Otherwise, it could fall apart. So what's the pace of what you're doing?
I mean, the pace is slow. It's not as fast as I want it to be. I'm like a let's go, go, go type guy. You know, I was in the Marines, aviation, very high tempo, and that's just the tempo I like. So it's never as fast as I want it to be, but I don't see it falling apart because, one, I'm persistent and I will not give up. I believe in this, and I believe in a part of my reason for doing this is when I moved to San Antonio and I was buying a home, I was really worried about buying at the top of a bubble. And I did all kinds of research into the local economy, and I became super bullish on San Antonio. I think San Antonio can outgrow Austin on a GDP percentage basis, easy. More diverse economy. They're not geographically constrained like Austin. Not throwing shade at Austin, but I just think San Antonio has more potential, but it also takes more work to realize that potential.
Right, and do you agree with that, Desiree?
I mean, I do. I believe in San Antonio's economy, and not just that, its work base is pretty talented. I mean, we have not just Military USA, but we also do have a lot of colleges and universities that are here. Here, we have a very dedicated government that puts a lot of resources into workforce development for our base. I do agree with Alan in the fact that we do need accelerator programs and incubators like these coming into our footprint of San Antonio. Again, there is a lot of great talent here. There's a lot of entrepreneurship here. I mean, that I think we can all agree on, that entrepreneurship is pretty heavy here in San Antonio. So we do need guidance. I think that we need resources, guidance, and so forth. And typically we've seen it, again, from government. But I love that we're seeing things like Geekdom. We're seeing things like Founders Institute that are private institutions that are tearing away from government. A lot of people are kind of hesitant to go into government work development programs. I think it's a great alternative to it.
How would you respond to this? Because I've heard it, and I've had plenty of conversations around San Antonio is a little bit more land of mañana, right? It's a little bit more like it doesn't have that, let's get it done. Let's, as opposed to Austin. Austin has more of that. Do you agree with that? Or no?
I do think that. I think Austin is always going to be 5 steps ahead of San Antonio. That's one of our flaws here in San Antonio is for being the 7th largest city in the U.S., we're a bit behind of the other metroplexes that are here in Texas. I think we could, again, with great programs like this, maybe we can turn that dynamic. But you are absolutely right that we are a little bit further behind. Look at how Austin has Google present there now. Houston is getting Microsoft there now. And we really need to be competitive in attracting, those larger, especially technology. We see a lot of Silicon Valley relocating here in Texas. San Antonio needs to do a lot better job in, luring them over here.
It's the hustle muscle. And I'm not saying it's a negative on San Antonio. I'm just saying that this is the vibe. And again, I talk to a lot of people, and the vibe is that San Antonio doesn't have as strong developed hustle muscle as Austin does. And a good example of that might be something like Provisors, right? Provisors launched in Austin. They're at 8 chapters already. It's very, very quick turnaround. Dallas has that as well. Houston has that. But you could argue those are more transactional. I'm not really trying to get into – I'm just talking about the hustle part of it, where San Antonio is not necessarily in such a hurry. Alan, I see you chomping at the bit over there.
Well, first of all, I have to say I'm a huge fan of hustle muscle. That is a new one for me.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, that's – I want to say that I have hustle muscle, and I think you do too, Alan.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with any of it. But there are people within San Antonio, like the four of us, who will say, we have it, right? And so these kinds of programs are for us, right? Is that what you're finding?
I mean, yeah,
you're finding people who are interested.
Programs are definitely for the people with the hustle muscle, but I think San Antonio, that potential is a story waiting to be told.
I love that.
If we get everyone on board and work collaboratively, the word collaboratively again, then I would rather be on a team where everyone is working together than a team of like a few high performers, with Austin being the equivalent of like you have a few high performers, but the team where everyone works collaboratively towards a vision or end state is always going to perform better than the team of high performers.
Well, so when you're launching something, this is the way I look at it, right? And I'm a hammer. I look at everything looks like a nail, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm looking at, launching a business, which the Founders Institute is a business, that it takes a lot of that push, right? The accelerator, right?
Yeah.
Staying on top, but then also a lot of marketing. Mm-hmm. So how are you marketing this thing to get that out there and stay top, constantly pushing that message at a high level?
I've seen you pushing it on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Well, we're just getting started on marketing side. FI does have a global network, like I said, and their marketing channels are pretty vast and expansive, as opposed to just being at like a local thing. So once we finalize, go through the program and start really getting our voice, this is essentially the first time we've spoken publicly about it. Any kind of marketing scale. But as we grow, like our voice will grow. And as we get more people on board with the vision of San Antonio, our voice will grow.
And so we're at the ground floor is what you're saying.
It's
beginning right here.
It is beginning right here. You guys are at the ground level.
Yeah, you have to establish yourself as for real, relevant, right?
Yeah.
And something that attracts people to what it is you're doing. Geekdom, of course, they have like a culture center, right, where people can kind of go to. What are your plans there to like establish a culture?
The culture I want to put together, I'm working on putting together a coalition of companies that collaboratively coordinate 2 to 3 events per week, where each company is putting on one event a month. And then I can't stress enough of how we want this to be as collaborative as possible. That's what we want our culture to be, collaborative. As far as it being tied to a physical space, San Antonio, 7th largest city, sometimes I don't want to go from my house to the west side, right? It's like a 30-minute drive without traffic. So we want to be kind of a flow. We want to be able to work collaboratively and the network move about and develop across the city without being tied to one central location.
Well, you guys have a model. Look, Founders Institute's been around for how long?
Oh, man. I want to say 15, 20 years.
Yeah, so they've already proven what works and what doesn't work as far as creating a culture of it. So are you just going to mimic that here in San Antonio?
Yeah, of course. We're going to bring, a big part of the FI culture, the structure and system, but it'll be our own like San Antonio flair of culture. Kind of going back to the hustle muscle, I think San Antonio's strength is also in its family, right? So nothing makes me hustle harder than like thinking about what I can do for my family. San Antonio is a very family-oriented city. So the hustle muscle is there because everyone cares about their family and everyone wants to see the best for their family. And that's going to be part of our culture.
So Desiree, so you're not from San Antonio, though, right?
I am not.
Okay.
Please accept me as a San Antonio.
Recently, okay.
You're in.
Right, you're a transplant.
But he's coming with a certain mindset about what he thinks San Antonio is, and maybe experiential, and maybe what he's hearing. But you've been here your whole life,
right.
West Side,
Yes.
right? So is that realistic? What he's talking about?
I do think so. So one of my first clients ever was an NFL. He was an NFL player, and one of his taglines is "The hustle is entertainment." And what I've seen is, one, he tries to drive young individuals to find their hustle, right? To find their hustle in work, in entrepreneurship, in the community. And I do see that that San Antonio does have the culture that has that hustle muscle mentality. But like any other culture, it needs to be fed, and it needs to be, it needs to be promised. So I love that you're promising our community, hey, we're going to bring different organizations. We're going to bring different programs that are going to help motivate you. I really do believe that we do have the culture here in San Antonio of hustle muscle. You just have to find those hustlers out there and go lend a hand. So I love here again. I work with nonprofits that work to help young entrepreneurs find their hustle. I have nonprofits that are helping young entrepreneurs find their hustle as early as elementary school. Again, with Breaking Down Walls, we've worked with people to help them find their hustle. Our sweet spot is 17 to 25.
That's awesome.
Yes. So, I mean, I would assume that FI has different components, or that might even be a marketing aspect to look at to see, okay, what age are we going after? What demographic are we targeting? Because do we have those, do we have a core that are all about hustlers? Absolutely. They go to, BNI all the time. They go to a lot of mixers. They go to a lot of mixers. They go to tons of networking. But the program that you're offering is something different than just networking. When you're networking, that's an acute type of development, tool. But this is something different. This is something that's going to help someone realize and clarify what they are contributing as far as their service or product is concerned.
Well, and going after the influencers within, in San Antonio, that in the business community, I think is super smart too. Because then you're like, all right, so if somebody's got a networking group, go make a relationship with that person who's got a networking group, because then they're going to introduce you to the rest of them. You already come in at a high level, but that's targeting influencers within the business community. Is
that the collaboration you're talking about there? Maybe collaborating with influential people, organizations?
Yeah, of course. Everyone, from Alamo Angels, we want to collaborate with them, to Tech Block, collaborating with them. Center City is another one. They throw like events and stuff around different verticals within the ecosystem. And there's a lot I don't know, right? I am fairly new, and a lot of stuff you said, I feel like I could talk to you for hours afterwards. But I just want my biggest hope from this is that everyone knows that I am here to build with each other, right? It's no man is an island. Let's do this together.
And I think one of those programs that I saw, and maybe you could talk more about it, is the mentorship. And coming from the corporate space, I'm very experienced with mentorship programs, and I have an opinion that they don't always work. And the reason is because they're so formal in nature. Someone applies to be in a mentorship program, and then somebody has to go find a mentor for a mentee, and then these people are forced together, and they're given this 30-page document that says, this is what mentoring looks like, go do this. And that's why it doesn't always work, because it's got that forcing formality to it. It begins on this date, it ends on this date, and you've been mentored. That doesn't always work.
Yeah.
But sometimes it does. And I find the most successful mentorship programs are the ones that happen a little more organically. But I'm not familiar with what a mentorship program in your space might look like. So maybe that could be a piece of what you're talking about, Desiree, about those programs that are available to truly help people. So with that long setup, could you tell us a little more about what that mentorship program looks like for Founder Institute?
So we're still building the mentor like cachet, if you will. But the intent is, as companies come through the program, being able to identify with specificity what it is they need, and then get them in touch with the local mentors in the ecosystem. Local mentors are expected to, be hands-on. Maybe we're not handing over a 30-page like mentoring document, but just like being hands-on and giving their guidance and support. And then if there aren't any local mentors for their specific needs, then tapping that global mentor network through FI.
And so what does the program time frame typically look like? Because this is, marketed as an accelerator program, which is different than like incubator programs that tend to be a little bit longer in nature. So what type of time frame does this program have or curriculum have?
It's a 12-week program,
Okay.
I believe. So it's kind of got its foot in both realms of incubator and pre-seed, seed accelerator. But it is a 12-week program.
And so me as a business owner, so if I came to you and said, hey, look, I'm thinking about, growing, scaling, is this the type of program that I would go to go and scale a business?
Yes, you could. So you'd come in and go through the program in the growth track, I think it's called growth track. You go through that. Then afterwards, you get access to follow-on programs to help you set up your board if you don't already have one. Make sure you're structured properly to be able to raise. You're investable, right? Make sure you're truly investable. And then you put in the effort through those follow-on programs. And then ultimately, you gain access to a VC network connections. And the FI Founders Institute is working on getting their own fund together so it can invest directly into the companies.
So what type of developmental opportunities would a business owner have if they went into your program?
I guess it would depend on where they're at. If they're early on, the development opportunity is just to get you from that idea to something, MVP, ideally, a validated MVP at that. If you're in the growth track, the business development would be the follow-on programs to make sure investable, and then tapping that FI Global Network again to find out where we can go to get that hands-on support to get you to the next level.
And that's great because that's a lot of small businesses, that's their hurdle.
Yeah.
Right? Their hurdle is how do we grow? What resources should we tap to help us grow? So that's wonderful that you have that type of structure available and guidance for them.
Yeah, thank you.
And the connections too, right? Because
Yes.
it's one thing to know how to do it and another thing to actually be able to do it.
Yeah, and we're still building the connections, like local connections, but I'm optimistic. Obviously, I'm optimist.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited.
I see networking as a huge component of what you're doing because when you've got those relationships, then you're going to get the access. The relationships generally come before the access, at least here in San Antonio, it seems that way.
Yeah, I think right now I feel like there's because we are new, there's some trepidation, like, where to put the proof in the pudding, if you will, or, earn the respect, earn the trust, which is valid. I think that's what we need to do. And we're going to grind it out until we do that, until we earn the trust.
Why not use what's already been accomplished and use that as your examples here in San Antonio?
Well, San Antonio, in my experience, I do think there's this huge potential, but it is also kind of like a gated community for outsiders coming in. Not that that's a bad thing. I get it. People build their circles of trust, and we got to show that we can be trusted and earn people's respect.
See, and that's part of the slowdown. See, I think that it's not as high a requirement, not such a gated community, say in Austin, Dallas, Houston. It's more open, transactional. It's an ungated community, so to speak.
Yeah.
So there's your bottleneck,
Yeah.
I think. So what's your plan to overcome that in a rapid fashion?
Oh, I don't know if rapid fashion is possible, but I know I'm willing to grind it out and earn people's trust, respect, build that culture that I spoke of earlier, and show that outsiders can come in. It can be more than transactional, and we can have a process to create a system that creates prosperity and growth for everyone.
So I think I've demonstrated over the last couple of years a workaround on that because I'm not originally from here, didn't go to high school here. And then I was a cop in the community for a very long time, right? And with cops and community we're separated, right? It just is. It's a culture thing, right? So I haven't really been part of the community as much. Not true for everybody, but certainly was for me. So in order to turn that around, I came at it with an attitude that I'm going to give you something at a high level that you're going to want, and it's going to open up relationship possibilities. And that was KTSA Radio, where I launched this show back in 2022. And it was give, talk, and then have everybody see it kind of a situation. That's how I've been able to kind of overcome that. And I'm very much accepted in the community and respected and liked in the community now, just to establish that. So that was my tactic of doing that. So, and it worked. So it didn't take 5, 10, 15 years. It took, maybe 18 months or so to get it all in there at a high level. So
Mark, you've created something of value. And that's, so the phrase.
Not just a value, but a value that somebody else can come and grab and be a part of.
Yeah.
And when you're in a room like this talking, your relationship building comes much, much faster.
Absolutely. Yeah. The phrase, build it and they will come, right? I take that a step further. Build something of value. Build a place and a space where people will thrive and they will come. But I think, Mark, just being in here is a great starting point for you. And your mega mixer that you've got one coming up in March, and the community that you've built, and I can confirm everything he just said, by the way, about respect and the network you've built. It's a tremendous group. Is that something that Alan should get connected to? Is that a place to find people who could be interested in what he's building? So
you got to do kind of what maybe you're good at, in a sense. And I learned pretty quick that I have a knack for doing this kind of a thing, right? And but it was something that worked for me. So it's hard to say. I don't know if that's necessarily what Alan would be good at doing. Maybe, maybe not. But if you think you would be, you got a big smile on your face, maybe that would be the thing to do.
Let me ask
like networking?
You something that you're been involved with, military, right? We're in Military USA. There are a lot. As a matter of fact, we just had Teddy Sheely that was just here, ex-military, went on to an encore career. Is that something, as we're talking, you did research and development, you looked here at the San Antonio economy. Is maybe military, the military family, as you mentioned, is that an opportunity to go and tap in for those that are going in their encore career from the military?
Yeah, I'm very much involved with the military. Are you familiar with PenFed? Anyone? No? Okay, PenFed is a credit union, I believe, and they came out with a report, top 20 cities for best cities for vetpreneurs. At the time, San Antonio was like number 19, and the most recent one, they're like number 11. And I said, for a city that calls itself Military City USA, I will, and now that I live here, I will not settle for anything less than the
And
number one.
FI can help that, right?
Yeah,
I mean, there you go. If you're looking for a target, I love that Mark gave some clarity here to say, hey, what's something that you identify? What's something close to you?
Yeah.
Because it's true. Like me, I'm branded as a nonprofit guru. Do I have other, a minority of small business clients and all that? Yeah. But what I'm good at is my talent that I have. And it seems like, military, that's something that resonates a lot with you. And here in the city of San Antonio, it might be a fantastic opportunity for FI.
Yeah, no, it's, I think it is. I got some stuff, I can't really talk about it right now, but I'm trying to pull together several veteran organizations around entrepreneurship under one umbrella. And
sounds exciting.
That is exciting.
Can't wait to hear more.
It's amazing.
I'll let you guys know. I can say more in January, February.
It's amazing to me that we're not as organized with the veteran community here in San Antonio area. I don't get it.
I agree.
I don't get it. There's not a veteran chamber of commerce. They've tried that. It's just like they can't get traction on it. I don't know what's going on, but it's this land of manana attitude. I think I don't know, but it's just slow to execute.
You know what I'd love to know? Just hearing your story a little bit, you strike me as you are an inspiring person because.
Oh, thanks.
Well, you moved here from Japan, right?
Yeah.
You brought your family to San Antonio. You said, "I'm going to make a life in San Antonio." You came here with an idea for a business. You're an entrepreneur at heart. That didn't work out. You built something else, and now you're building something else again. So, what do you consider yourself an innovator?
I just like to get stuff done.
Okay.
I don't know if an innovator.
You can go work for a company and do that.
No, I worked on Randolph Air Force Base, and I can't work for a company if a company isn't like willing to change and improve and grow. Then I can't do it.
Not for you.
Yeah. So I guess I'm an innovator.
You are.
Yeah.
You're an innovator. You build your own thing, and you build something to add value to others.
Yeah.
So what inspires that?
I'm a big believer in abundance mindset.
Okay.
And I think there's more than enough for everybody. We just got to work together to realize it, and when I see some problems, I just think there's solutions, and most of those solutions involve us just working together to get it done.
Yeah.
And people are the difficult thing, the complicated thing. My co-founder,
True.
my co-founder,
HR specialist.
yeah.
People are the difficult thing. If we could just run companies without people, what would it be like?
Yeah.
It would
Put
be
that on a
impossible.
T-shirt, Alan.
People are the
People
difficult
are the
things,
hard
yeah.
part, right?
They
Yes.
are. That's why the communication thing, like if you can communicate, that enables you to get people to your side and make the difficult thing easier or easy.
Yeah.
I guess if you're really good at it. But yeah, that's, I forgot what the question was. So I brain farted.
Well, look, I've got one question that leads into another one, but it's, I think every business needs that mouthpiece, right? They need that person that can go out and be the cheerleader for the business and rally folks around. It takes a charisma, it takes a tenacity. You know what I mean? It just takes that kind of a thing that attracts people to what's happening here. Just the keynote
Absolutely.
speaking kind of a thing.
Yeah.
The reason why, or one of the reasons why people go to events is to see the keynote speaker, right? So there's no pressure or anything,
Right.
but,
Not
but
at
lots
all.
of pressure. So I definitely think that it's great to have ideas and it's great to be enthusiastic and passionate about stuff. But you got to, look, businesses have to be organized. They have to execute well. They got to
Yeah.
be realistic.
Yeah.
They got to constantly reevaluate. It's just, I mean, after 600 interviews of talking to entrepreneurs and business owners, I learned a few things about what's working, what's not working. And, it's self-reflection as well. That was more commentary than anything else. But really, it's how do you make money with this program?
FI.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm talking about not the person coming in, but you as the chapter guy. How do you get paid? Because at the end of the day, it can't be altruistic. There's got to be a paycheck at the end of it.
It's about abundance and collaboration.
Right.
No, but
It's a lot of
certainly,
fluff.
Yeah, you
I
have
wanna
to
know how much money you're gonna make.
You got to monetize all that.
What's the business model here?
yeah, there is a business model. I honestly don't really think about it. And so as local leaders make money a few ways. When they put on events, and if there's any kind of money left over from sponsorship for that event, that money gets divvied up between the local leaders, and some goes back to the headquarters. I guess the big thing would be the warrant. There's a 2.5% warrant for local leaders to like run everything. 1% of that warrant gets divvied up between the local leaders. So if we are invested in the companies, like we want them to succeed, because that will be our payday at some point. But when that will happen, if that will ever happen, most businesses fail. So it's a huge gamble. It could be a huge waste of my time in terms of payout, but it will never truly be a waste of my time because of the connections and community that we can develop.
And so is there tuition? Is there tuition to enter the program? Is that part of the revenue stream? At the events, is there an entry fee that's part of the revenue stream and the business model?
There is a application fee. We don't, as local leaders, we don't see any of that. It goes straight to headquarters. But they are trying to get away from that application fee model. I'm just not entirely sure when it will happen.
And what about tuition for the program? Do they pay to do
That's
participants?
the application fee.
Oh, that's the application
Yeah.
fee is the tuition. That's the tuition for the program.
Yep.
To have access to the resources, all that. And how about if you have events? Those are entry-based
The events, we get money from those from sponsorships.
Okay. So let's
so
say
no one has to pay for
human
them.
credit. If Human Credit said, I want to have one of your programs here or an event here, we want to have a speaker here on this particular topic that your curriculum involves, then they will hire.
That would probably be a co-promotion partnership type
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
Not necessarily a sponsorship.
Okay. I was just looking to see what the revenue streams are.
Oh, yeah, and if you need a speaker, I know a guy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I can be the publicist for the guy.
That's good. We're doing business.
You did say he's not making any money off of this.
Yeah.
So
So we'll
You
need to
will.
talk about the money. We'll bring you. We'll figure the business model to get you the money, sir.
Yeah. Well, the big thing is the sponsorships for
Got
the
it.
money.
so what's a cohort?
Cohort is just a group of applicants that paid the fee.
Come in together at the same time.
Come
Did
in
they
together
right?
at the
Did they
same
go
time.
together? Like in grad school, I remember we didn't. You just went and enrolled in classes at randomly, and when I went to my PhD, it was different. We were a cohort. We started together. And we're going to end the journey together. So I love cohorts because it really does give a sense of community as you're
Yeah.
progressing through a program, and it really does give a lot of you're connected so much. So when does your first cohort begin here in San Antonio?
The first cohort will kick off end of March.
That's exciting.
Do you already have the people for it?
No, we haven't started recruiting for it yet. We'll have our first FI event in January, January 21st, I believe. It'll be a Meet the Ecosystem event. And then February 4th, we'll have an investor type event. And then February 20th, we'll have a third event. I can't remember what it's called, but
What does your applicant look like? Who's the applicant? Like, is it an applicant like me where I'm, a little bit older? I have a business. Are you looking for young? What is a target applicant that FI is looking for?
we don't really have an age demographic. We just more of a business demographic. So it could be people who have ideas, like for the launch track, or it could be people who have some traction a little bit further along and they're looking for that growth support as they shoot for 1 million to 5 million or something like that.
So you could enter at different levels in your entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
depending on your needs. You've got a track that meets that need.
Yep, with different tracks to meet the different needs, and then specifically on the information we get as they come through the cohort, that specificity of support is what we're really trying to hone in on.
Do you accept everyone who wants to be in it, or is there a screening process?
There is when you apply, you fill out a entrepreneurial
Questionnaire.
psychological profile. Like, are you an entrepreneurial mindset? And this helps us kind of get an idea of the people.
Okay.
One of the questions is, are you fascinated by fire?
Is it really?
Are you serious?
No.
I was like, you
I
never
get
know.
what you're
Have you
doing.
ever taken
Yes.
a Myers-Briggs or personality
Well,
test?
that's what I've heard. It's been a
They
minute.
ask very random questions. So I would believe it.
Would you reinvent the wheel? That could be a good question.
That would be
Right.
a phenomenal
Would
question.
you reinvent the wheel?
My
That's kind
question
of
would
an
always be
entrepreneurial
yes.
question.
The answer is yes.
I would
Yes.
tweak it for sure. Maybe it would be less than round, just to kind of see how that would work.
Just to see what would happen.
Well, that's how they came up with things like the track on a tank, right? They reinvented the wheel. That's a
true.
reinvention of the wheel.
Very
Yeah, I
true.
was going to say they have actually reinvented the wheel.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Go for it.
for the wheels that are able to move laterally.
Oh, yes. I've seen them.
The concept cars that have come out.
My son has a remote control car that looks like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're talking about the shift like
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
Hummer has one of those. Humvee
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, or the Hummer.
And then also they have some tires or wheels that are not air. They're just like
I've seen them.
a structure, like a rubber
Wow.
structure.
And so that's why I think right now we do need programs like this
Yeah.
because I've said it several times. I believe we're at our second renaissance. Much
Yeah.
different. It's not an art-based renaissance, but we are at a renaissance of knowledge. People want knowledge. People want growth. There's so much opportunity. Everything to me, there's a lot of original ideas that are floating around there that are coming from entrepreneurs, and they need programs like this to help them not stay so small in nature, to help them really grow and scale to something that could be a global idea or product in some way, shape, or form. We do need to help people find their hustle. Absolutely.
What's the name of the guy who's he's a big influencer, big tall guy. He has these big events and like thousands of people.
Tony
come.
Robbins?
Tony Robbins.
Yeah, Tony
It's like that's what you guys need for the Founders Institute. Is you need a Tony Robbins that can gel because
I know a guy.
No, he's not Tony.
For the record, she
Robbins.
pointed
He's not
at
there
the
yet.
other Alan.
He'll
Let's not
get there.
carried away here. No, but it's like when you have, because I am a huge fan of entrepreneurship. To me, I love nonprofits, but if I can focus my efforts on entrepreneurship, to me, that's the nonprofit work for me. That's the stuff I want to help with that community, which is the idea behind the Mega Mixer, because it's by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, and it actually works for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
I love entrepreneurship, and it is hard. We need a Tony Robbins figure around something like that, because we've had angel investors in here as well, right? The Amo Angels, we've had them in here. It's like, where's that charismatic figure that can bring all this stuff together?
I'm coming.
I love it.
I got a three-stage plan.
Yeah, but see, charismatic people don't talk in three-phase plans.
Well,
They do it. Yes.
I'm doing it. I'm doing
You're
it.
getting some good advice here from Mark. Mark, you're giving some good advice.
But given the community, before I just say, hey, I'm doing A, B, and C, and this is what the vision is, I got to put the proof in the pudding.
Right.
So
it's got to have teeth.
You got to do the
I
reps
put the
before you
teeth.
can just come out.
Yeah. I'm putting the teeth
The
together.
teeth are already there. That's my issue is that, or my, I guess, contention is that it's already there. You just have to bring the results to San Antonio, put them on display, and then have that some charismatic figure take that and just get it out to everybody and say, hey, look, this is what's here. We've already done this, and you guys are going to be a part of it. If they can, that's the accelerator for the Founders Institute.
So there's already
agree.
proof. It's a plug and play,
Right.
Yes.
is what you're saying.
It's already there.
Plug it in here, let it play.
Yeah, I'm launching a company next year that it's already a proven model. But I'm bringing them in here to make sure we get plenty of content to shout it out, saying, hey, this already works. Do you want to play or not?
Is that an announcement, Mark?
No.
No.
But it's coming soon.
Well, so I will say I'm glad that we have a preview of what's to come. A lot of times what we see is we just saw Tony Robbins when he exploded, right? But I'm sure, no doubt he did all of the footwork to get there, to do the marketing, to do all of that. So I'm excited to learn a little bit more before the program officially launches here in San Antonio. I think it's definitely a needed program and initiative here. We have too many, which is great, a great problem to have. We have so many entrepreneurs here in San Antonio, but you're right, they do need a flame under them. They need motivation. A lot of entrepreneurs here are complacent. They're making, $100,000, $250,000 that feed their family, and they're happy with that. They're content with that.
Until the next COVID comes along.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, what happened?
Right. And so programs like this, I can't wait for them to we need more of them.
And every day there are, millions of brilliant new ideas, right? And they just need a spark. They need a way. They need a path.
Is there
And
a
you can
thing
offer that.
in school, high school, where they're like, hey, let's have a little hub, a little get together and talk about investing in Bitcoin? I only learned last week that you could invest for as little as $5. And I'm like, are you kidding me? How is it that people don't know this? Can you imagine if kids in school are learning about this kind of stuff?
Well,
This is my thing with entrepreneurship. It's like kids aren't learning about entrepreneurship necessarily unless they have
Classes
parents
in
for it.
College.
Right.
Or
Entrepreneur
even in
programs.
college, you're going to business school, and business school is not entrepreneurship.
But it is, I will tell you that when you're going to higher education, it is shifting to experiential type of learning, where they're actually saying, let's get out of the classroom, let's go teach them something and get their hands dirty.
And build something that works.
Right. Have them build something.
Proof in the pudding, right? I mean, let's
Right.
put some teeth in actual business school. I like school education is great because it gives you a foundation, but if you don't get experience, it's like you get out there going, I've got all this knowledge, and I don't know what to do with it.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I agree totally. Grow Solutions is taking part of students and startups, where we get interns from local colleges. Yeah, and they have the base knowledge already from doing the school, and we're just gonna give them the knowledge that they need, real world knowledge, as we also build.
Experience, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes,
Real
we
world
always learn about
experience,
theory, right? We learn
Yeah.
about theory in a textbook, but what people need is experience.
I
so-
read this. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that a real world application of this is I went to the police academy for 6 months, and then we go to our FTO experience, field training officer experience, where you actually get the experience of all the knowledge, because you come out thinking, okay, I'm ready to do this, and you don't know nothing because you just got the educational part of it and some, tactics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's the real world application of stuff that actually matters. And, and
Yeah.
the quicker, that's the accelerator program in my mind. That's like, hey, let's take what you think you know and then let's implement it in a real world situation so that you can get some real world experience.
Yeah, no, I agree. OJT, on the job training is, if you mix traditional education degrees and stuff with OJT, like that's a winning combination.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
But we got to leave it there, man. So great conversation. This is how I like to do it on this show. We get out good information. We also challenge each other a little bit. Alan, if people want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
They can find me on LinkedIn. If they search my name, Alantheus, I'll be the only one.
Yeah, that's cool. Though.
That's great.
I'm changing my name to what's the guy from Gladiator?
Maximus?
Maximus.
Well,
No,
that's
but
the first movie. I don't know the second one.
Wasn't there a Mark version of it? There should be like a Mark version of. Maybe I'm thinking of Spartacus or something like that. That show.
Machiavelli?
I got to come up with a cooler name. It's got to be Greek. Man.
Marcius.
Anyway, Alantheus.
Also, my email, much simpler, Alan, ALAN, at growfit.io. That's grow with the E, GROEFIT.io. And Alantheus, just if anyone's wondering out there, it's ALANTHEUS. Search me up on LinkedIn, you'll find me.
Originally from
I
the
found
island
you
of
very
Crete.
quick.
Are you from Greece?
On my father's side, yes.
Okay, cool. Not from the island of Crete? I just like saying the island of Crete. Have you ever been to Crete?
Smart.
No, I haven't. I want to visit.
Well, you have to go. That's your home.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming in, Alan. I appreciate it. As we wrap up the show, quick reminder, check out our latest podcast and catch video version of the show anytime by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. Great show. I enjoyed that one. You guys have a great week. We'll see you on the next one.
Yes.
All right, then bye.